Hi, I'm Jorj Morgan. Believe it or not, it was 20 years ago when I wrote my first book. It was called At Home in the Kitchen. I think it has like 250 recipes because when I pitched the book to the publisher, he said, well, you know you have to have 250 recipes. I said, well, not a problem, I have the time. And then it was like 2 years later that he said, well, let's do an entertaining book. And so I did At Home Entertaining. And he said, well, you know you need 250 recipes. I said, not a problem, I have a lot of recipes. So I bring this up because I'm going to make salmon for you today, and I'm going to show you the secret to perfect salmon. I have used this recipe for way over 20 years. It's in this book, it's in this book, probably in the new book, it's probably in every book I've ever done, and it's always some version of the same salmon. There's a secret to this. A lot of people overcook it, they grill it, whatever, you have it in the restaurant, it's dry, it's white, it's nobody likes it. A lot of people don't even order it. I can make this absolutely perfect, and so can you absolutely every time. And the secret, please keep this to yourself, do not put it on the internet, don't tell anybody else, is brown sugar. Brown sugar. Yes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a rub for this salmon with brown sugar as the basis. What it basically is a heaping handful of brown sugar, and then we put about an equal amount of chili powder in there, and then we mix that together, and then we add in some paprika. I'm sticking with the red colors here, you see this going on? And then I add onion powder, garlic powder. I add a little cumin. You can add, depending on what you're going to use the salmon for, oregano or thyme or absolutely anything. This is a definite kitchen sink rub. I put a little salt and pepper in it. Now, I put a lot of pepper and a little bit of salt. I like to salt things later on, and so I don't like to put a lot of salt in the beginning. And then I get this gorgeous rub. I mean, and you can use it on everything. I'll tell you, it's perfect for the salmon, but it's also great on roasted vegetables. I like to mix sweet potatoes, carrots, and cauliflower, a little olive oil, and this mix on and roast them for about 20 minutes, and I'll tell you what, it's heaven. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna season this beautiful piece of salmon. And instead of putting lemon today, I'm gonna put an orange. Just because it's going with the theme of what I'm doing. So we're gonna get that little orange goodness in there and cover it with orange juice. And then we're gonna sprinkle this rub and make sure you use this sugar. And remember not to tell anybody, that's a big secret. And look, I mean, it's a ton of that on there, right? And now we're gonna just pat it in there. Massage that in there. You want every little surface to be covered with this really good rub. And right now we're preheating your oven, so like 425 degrees, because we're gonna do this really quick. A little olive oil. That just gives it a little bit of richness. And this makes sure, what happens here is, not only are these flavors delicious, but this holds in all the moisture in the salmon, so that when you get it out, it's not dried at all. I cook it for about 15 to 20 minutes, a piece of salmon this size, at about 425, and then pull it out, and it's gonna be delicious on the inside. Another way to do it is about 8 minutes per inch of thickness in the center. Remember this about fish. Undercook it, because it will continue cooking after you take it out of the oven, and you don't want to dry it out. So we're going to go into the oven at 425. This has been out of the oven for just a little bit of time. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Really, let me show you how flaky it is. Hold on, I'm going to get a fork. It flakes. Look at this. See it flaking? It's so good. It's really, really good. So now that when I make it, I make a lot, because you can do so many things with it. So we're going to show you salmon thing one. We're going to make salmon Niçoise salad. Basically, what I've done is I've grabbed things in the fridge. I've got some roasted tomatoes that I made the other night. I got some fresh tomatoes. I have some olives, because Niçoise salad usually needs Niçoise olives, but I don't have any, but that's fine. And some haricot vert, skinny green beans. And I put them on this platter. just going to spoon some salmon into the middle. Perfect looking, perfect. So we're going to cover it, just a drizzle of olive oil. We can cover everything now. The salmon, the green beans, the tomatoes, the olives. Sprinkle it with a little bit of black pepper. And just like that, oh, we can just put some basil. I almost forgot the basil. Put a couple basil leaves on the tomatoes, on the potatoes, a little bit on the salmon. And just like that, we have a salmon Niçoise salad. Salmon thing too. So we're going to take some of this salmon that I've already prepared, and we're going to flake it. And I'm telling you, this is flaking. This is so good. And we're going to make a salmon salad. In this bowl, I have some cut up cucumbers, a little bit of white onion diced, and some dill. This salad is kind of an inspiration on a salad that was popular way back in the day. It was like a curry chicken salad. And you put chicken and rice and into the salad, and you added like a curry sauce, and it was delicious. I mean, everybody made it, and there were grapes in it. It was good. Oh, I kind of do the same thing with the salmon, because the flavors on the salmon really are already there. They would go with that salad easily. So we're just going to put. You can do as much of this as you want, depending on how many people you have that are going to be eating this. But this salmon salad is so good, so we'll probably stop there. But we're flaking it. I do flake it with my fingers, you know, because I can. And I got a sink right here, and I'm washing them. So what we're doing is we're putting the celery. Did I say celery? Yeah. Celery, cucumber, onion, dill is already in there. The flaked salmon. We're going to put some water chestnuts. That'll give it a nice little crunch. And we're going to put some grapes. And then we will mix this around. Like that. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, it looks good now. But we're going to make a little sauce for it, a little salad dressing, so to speak. And what I have here is some mayonnaise, sour cream. I'm going to add some curry, a little curry powder to it. It just really gives more of an aroma than it does a taste. A little paprika. I have a little coconut milk here, so this is really thick. It's coconut milk. And again, this is going to give more of an aroma and a feel for this all these flavors merging than it actually does a taste. But I'm just going to add start with like 2 spoonfuls of that in the salad. And then for a little bit of tang, I'm going to add some white balsamic vinegar. And we shall just mix that up. So this salmon you will see in all kinds of varieties, all kinds. We're going to add some salt and pepper. Mix it one more time. And then we're going to add some to our salad. Now we do this a little bit at a time. Leftovers I can always deal with. Overdone I can't. And we'll just show you how to do this. Just mix it in. Getting all those ingredients nice and wet. Ideally you could make this in advance and put it in the fridge and let those flavors blend for a little while. Put a little more salad. And this is good like several days in. You could make it a couple days in advance. And this is a perfect thing to do I'm a leftover lunch eater, so I'm always making a lot of food. Everybody says, well, how can you only cook for 2? Well, I'm never cooking for 2. I'm cooking for 2, and then I'm cooking for me, and then I'm cooking for me, so that's 4. So I make enough that I can have the leftovers, and I never eat them the same way. I always re-envision the next day and or 2. So we're going to give this a little taste. And done. That was really good. The salmon comes through. We didn't really murder it with the sauce. So the salmon comes through really well with all those flavorings already on there. The crunchiness of the cucumber and the water chestnut and that little bit of celery is good. You feel the dill. You can smell the cumin and the coconut milk, which is great. And I'm sorry, not the cumin, the curry. And so you would serve this just either on a bed of lettuce, you could serve it in an avocado, in a tomato, anything like that. Put it on a cracker, and now I've got an hors d'oeuvre. Pretty good, huh? So, salmon thing, number 2, salmon salad. Yum. So we're on to salmon thing 3, and this time we're going to make salmon cakes. And everybody can make a salmon cake. It's really not hard. And now that we've cooked salmon, that works really, really well. But I have a little secret ingredient here too. So we got the secret thing going on with the salmon. I add toasted corn to my salmon cakes, and then I serve it with what I call a corny tartar sauce. The little bit of sweetness of that corn just adds so much flavor to this corn. Well, it could be a corn cake, a salmon cake. Maybe it's a salmon corn cake. Whatever, it's really easy to make. So we take our leftover salmon, and in this bowl, I have a little bit of diced red onion, I have a little bit of yellow bell pepper, I have a little bit of parsley, and a little bit of dill. And to this, we're gonna add our flake salmon. Again, do you see, it's been a while now, and see how moist it still is? I mean, it really is a delicious it's so easy to work with, it's so good. That's why I like this particular recipe so well, because you can make it and you serve it hot out of the oven, absolutely. But you can make it and serve it at room temperature too, and people love it. I just had a couple friends over for dinner, several friends over for dinner last Friday night, and I made this salmon again, and I'll tell you, the people that were helping me in the kitchen, I mean, they didn't want to put the salmon out because they wanted to take home the leftovers, which I always give to everybody. But I said, no, come on guys. People have to eat first. So we're going to flake up some of this salmon, which is going to be so good. Again, with fingers. And that's good for now, I think. Back down a little bit. And we're going to add some of the corn. Let me just move this out of the way for a second. So you can see here. We're going to add some of the corn. So what I did was I made corn for hubby last night, and I made extra because that's what I do. And then this morning I just took some of the kernels off the cob, and then I just toasted them in some olive oil. And this just gives this a different kind of taste. And then because this is really corny and I'm kind of corny, I took some leftover cornbread that I had made and turned it into cornbread crumbs, and we're going to add that as the binder for these salmon cakes. Then we're going to take an egg. You could beat this up if you want, but I'm just going to mix it in. And we're also going to need this little spoon over here. Let me break up that egg a little bit. There we go. I saved a dish. Didn't have to beat my egg in another dish. That worked out. We're going to take some mayonnaise, some mustard. These are very flavorful. Little mustard, little mayo. Oh, I took that off. There we go. Again, this acts like a little binding. There's some salmon cake, crab cake recipes that I've seen that don't have any mayo in them at all, which is also, that's a good way to do it too, but this kind of works well. And then we're just going to combine all that. And this is where you're going to kind of feel it with your hands. See if it's all sticking together. If it's too dry, add a little bit. Another egg would be good. If it's too wet, you can add a little bit more of the cornbread crumbs. But this is looking pretty good. And we're going to add a little salt and pepper. forget what I made them for, but I made them into little mini crab cakes or salmon cakes. And you can put them, once you make them, you can put them on a tray, which we're gonna do, and then you can put them in the freezer, and you can have them like as an appy. If somebody drops by, you just pop them out. Or you can make them larger and have them for a luncheon or for dinner. Hubby's having this for dinner tonight. And it works. So this is the consistency that you want. See, it's kind of sticky together. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of the cornbread crumbs that are left over and put them in a shallow dish like this. And then we're gonna form our cakes. And I use an ice cream scoop. So depending on the size of cake you want is the size of scoop. So like if I were using hors d'oeuvre size, I would use this little mini scoop. And if I was doing like dinner size, I would use, a bigger scoop, but I'm gonna use medium. And we're gonna form this ball into a patty just like that. And then I'm just gonna dip it one side in the breadcrumbs and two sides in the breadcrumbs. Like that. And on the tray. I'm gonna do a couple more of these and then we're gonna go to the fry pan. I should say saute. We're basically frying them. So I'll be right back. So I let the salmon cakes rest in the fridge for about 15 minutes. You can hold them for longer if you want. And I've heated up some cooking oil, like a vegetable oil. Olive oil would be a little too hot. So we're gonna just saute these quickly. Yay! Everything in here is, the salmon's cooked, the veggies are crisp, so we're really not having to worry about cooking these. We're just giving them a nice little color on both sides. So we'll give that a second, and I'm going to change this out with paper towel. You can already tell, see, it's golden. If you look down on here, you're already gold on this side, so we're going to flip you carefully. And don't forget, we got a little sugar on the top of that salmon, so that's going to make this brown a little easier too. Look. Oh, we're ready. There, see the bottom without me dropping it. Nice and golden. We'll go here. Good. Guess what? We're ready to make the sauce. Let's do it. So, we've made our delicious salmon cakes with corn, our corny salmon cakes, or salmon corny cakes. So now we're going to make a little tartar sauce to go with them. And that is simply mayonnaise, sour cream, a little diced onion. I used white onion, you can use red. And I put a little parsley and a little dill in here. It's mimicking the same flavors. I'm going to add some lemon juice. Sometimes, if I don't have any good lemon juice, I add dill pickle juice. That's also really good in the tartar sauce. This works real well. The freshness of the lemon goes with everything, so that's perfect. But what makes it really corny, corny tartar sauce is corn, of course. So I've taken some more of those toasted kernels and I've chopped them up really fine. This is going to give the dish a little sweetness too. And then we're going to put some of these in here. It's going to taste really good. And it goes great with the salmon cakes. And then we're just going to whisk this together. All these things are going to taste so good together. And this is all from one little bit of roasting that salmon. You roasted one piece of salmon and got all these dishes, which is great. Especially if you're going somewhere for the weekend, you've got people coming, or you have so much creativity with the one thing. That's what I like to do. I like to do that with chicken. I like to do it with beef, with the salads, with tomatoes, with everything. Cook once and then eat it a bunch of times. But not the same way. That's boring. That's what people don't want to do. So now we just, oh, look at that. Isn't that yummy? I just want to taste it. Make sure that it's got enough lemon juice. Which it does. It's delicious. And so I'm going to serve a little of this tartar sauce. Again, this will keep forever, so make as much as you like. And we'll serve this with our, salt. Sometimes not sloppy. With our salmon cakes. And voila, we have salmon thing 3. Come visit me again. We're going to talk about other stuff. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We're here to answer them. See you next time. Thank you.